So I recently made a video all about replacing my M4 iPad Pro with this M3 iPad Air and seeing if I miss my iPad Pro at all. And I'll leave that link down below if you guys haven't seen that. And although one of the best features of the M3 iPad Air is that price to performance ratio, because you can get one of these for $499 to $549 on Amazon, but the same cannot be said about first-party accessories from Apple for this, because the M3 iPad Air Magic Keyboard is $270, the Apple Pencil Pro is anywhere from $100 to $130, and then the list goes on. So in this video, we're going to talk about some of those alternatives that I've been able to find right here, as well as some other budget-friendly accessories, which I think are going to be extremely surprising. So without further ado, let's build the ultimate M3 iPad Air budget setup right now. Let's get into it. But now, before we continue, definitely consider subscribing to the channel down below because it helps motivate us to make more videos like this one. But now let's talk about the first accessory for this M3 iPad Air, which is going to be that Magic Keyboard alternative by ESR, their magnetic rebound keyboard case, and it's exactly what it sounds like. You can get this keyboard for, I believe, $89 or even cheaper for the 11-inch model. I think there's a 10% off coupon right on the Amazon page, and it gives you everything that you would want out of the Magic Keyboard at less than a third of the price. So you get a full QWERTY keyboard, you get the full function row, you get backlight keys that change up to 8 different colors, you get the trackpad, which is multi-touch, so it does work with multitasking, it works with slide over, it works with all your different multi-finger gestures, which is great to see. It also has extremely strong magnets built in there, it has that same kind of cantilever design. The only thing that you're missing out on here is that, yes, you are relying on Bluetooth, so it has its own built-in battery, meaning that on its own, it's a tad bit heavier compared to the Magic Keyboard. And then the second thing that you're missing is going to be that additional USB-C port on that left-hand side on the hinge that the first-party Magic Keyboard does, because it does rely on those pin connectors versus relying on a Bluetooth connection. Now, I thought being a Bluetooth connection versus something like those pin connectors would make the latency a lot worse compared to the Magic Keyboard, but you get about 98% of the same quality that you would out of that trackpad on the Magic Keyboard. So again, for 1/3 of the price, or even less so, I think this is a no-brainer. It comes in 3 different colors. This black one that I have, which is the cheapest option. I believe they have a purple one and a white one as well, if you guys want to check that out. And they make this for all the different iPads at various price points, from the iPad Airs all the way up to the M4 iPad Pro, but still much cheaper than something like the first-party Magic Keyboard. And to continue on with everything that's on the iPad Air itself, I have an Apple Pencil magnetic holder, which is actually a separate product completely, which slides in between any sort of magnetic folio. So it could be this Magic Keyboard, it could be a first-party Magic Keyboard, it could be a Folio cover case, so it doesn't need to be a keyboard, and as long as there's magnets on both sides, and it's going to easily fit. And what I like about this one, this is the Moft version, it's multi-purpose. Of course, it's going to hold the Apple Pencil in place no matter what, so it doesn't have to fall off. So the first thing it's going to do is keep that Apple Pencil in place no matter what, and I cannot tell you the amount of times that I've lost my Apple Pencil in the bottom of my backpack because the magnets aren't strong enough to keep it there when you are using it in a backpack. And then secondly, you can see that it's actually removable because it is made out of magnets, and it even has a nice little ruler built in there, so if you do need to kind of draw something out or measure something out, you now have that built in directly into this pencil holder, which is removable and multifunctional, which I absolutely love. And the pencil that it's holding is going to be the Geo Pencil by ESR as well. This thing is less than $30 right now, and again, the same thing is going to be true and very similar to these alternatives to the first-party Apple accessories. You get about 95% of the way there at 1/3 to 1/4 of the price. So as I mentioned, this one's $29 and has everything from tilt sensitivity to palm rejection to charging via USB-C to magnetically attaching. It doesn't charge magnetically, but it does attach magnetically to your iPad, which is an amazing thing to see. But this one also comes with some nice little added bonuses, like the ability to use shortcuts with the on-off button, so you can double-click to go into multitasking, you can double-click to make it a shortcut for a shutter, and it also has Find My built in directly into this Apple Pencil, so you can ping this Apple Pencil if you do lose it from your Find My application, which is something that not a lot of third-party accessories already have. So all that for $30, I think, is a great value overall. Now, you are missing the squeeze gesture from the Apple Pencil Pro, and you are missing the hover gesture, but again, for most people, that doesn't really matter, especially if you're just sketching and doing some note-taking. And I do want to recommend a screen protector. I'm always going to recommend the Paperlike screen protector on here because I like to be able to use my Apple Pencil and make it feel like it is paper. So I do recommend checking it out if you do want something that gives you some sort of tactile feedback on the actual iPad itself. So now let's talk about some other auxiliary accessories that aren't first-party ones or first-party alternatives, with the first one being a different kind of case by Moft themselves, which is their dynamic Folio case. And again, I don't really know how Moft does it with all their different origami magic that they do, but this thing has almost an infinite amount of viewing angles. I think they've counted up to 20+ different viewing angles with the way that this dynamic Folio works. But not only that, but it also works with your iPhone in conjunction. So depending on which kind of viewing angles or which kind of setup you have, you can actually lay your iPhone on that Folio case while you're maybe doing some handwriting or some note-taking, maybe even sketching, and using the iPhone as some sort of reference guide as well. So I like how multifunctional these cases are, and of course it works with that Apple Pencil holder, and it works in all these different ecosystems, and it just works via magnets. So this dynamic folio, I'll leave a link down below, I think is going to be a big one for Moft because it just kind of flexes their muscles and how creative you can be and how rigid you can be by using such amazing products and material choices. And another one that recently wowed me was going to be the Sotsu 12.5-inch ultra slim portable monitor. I recently reviewed their higher end model, which I believe was around $550 to $600. This is not that. This is going to be their budget friendly model. This is, I believe, $150 to $160 on Amazon. Comes in a couple different colors, and it is 12.5 inches, so it is a little bit bigger than the iPad Air 11-inch, but not quite as big as a full 13-inch laptop. But for my purposes and the way that I use this thing on the go, it's absolutely perfect. It gives you enough extra screen real estate to make it worth bringing alongside of you, and this thing is ultra slim, 4.6 millimeters in thickness, which is thinner than the 13-inch M4 iPad Pro, so that to give you a little bit of a reference. It does come with a magnetic folio case for protection as well as having a built-in stand. It comes with that USB-C cable, and it is a single cable solution, so you don't need to have anything additional in order to power this thing. It just uses the power directly from the iPad Air, and because this is an M3 iPad Air, you do have things like extended monitor support and stage manager, and having that extra screen real estate on the go that's that portable for $159, I think it's something that a lot of people should consider whether you are using an iPad or even a MacBook Air. So again, for $160, it's hard to complain with the materials that you get, the high quality nature of it, how crisp the display is, which is a 1080p display, and also, like I said, it's extremely portable for a portable display. So when it comes to audio, I just like to go with my AirPods Pro Gen 2 because they are even more budget friendly now, since on Amazon they're anywhere from $160 to about $189 depending on what time of year you're looking at them. And to me, anybody that has any sort of Apple product needs to jump on the AirPods Pro because it just works seamlessly across your entire ecosystem. And even if I try to recommend something that's a little bit cheaper, you still won't get the amount of benefit that you would get out of the AirPods Pro. So that is something that I can't really find an alternative for that gets you all the same things out of the AirPods Pro. And then also from a storage standpoint, because I went with the 128 gig version to go with the baseline of the iPad Air, I like to have some external storage, and the Samsung T7, whether it is a regular or the T7 Shield, is a great option to expand your storage even further. I have the 2TB Samsung T7 Shield right here that I've been using for years now. They're always on sale. I'll link it down below if you guys need some extra super reliable and fast storage. And of course, we're going to need some sort of USB-C hub because we are using USB-C all things now. And one that I would recommend is by a company called Dockcase. I've been using their products for years now, and has this perfect balance of being functional but also visually appealing. As you can see right here, it has this kind of translucent design with its glass top. It's got a 1-inch LCD panel to give you some diagnostic feedback in terms of what's being used, how fast things are transferring, what type of display you have connected to it. It just gives you everything that you would need from a kind of diagnostic standpoint at the end of the day. But you do have a USB-A 3.2 Gen 2 port. You have a USB-C port, which supports up to 100 watts of power capacity, which is more than enough for an iPad Air. You also have a Ethernet port, so if you want to hardwire in, you have an additional 3.2 Gen 2 port. You have a 4K 60 HDMI port, and then finally another 3.2 Gen 2 USB-C port. And then of course, we have to keep this M3 iPad Air charged up. I'm going to recommend two different charging solutions. The first one I've mentioned in the past, which is going to be this Anker MagGO 10,000 milliamp hour battery with the built-in cable. I've been a sucker for the built-in cable solutions or some sort of kind of click wheel or something that has a actual USB-C cable in there, so I don't have to remember to bring an additional one, and this one has that. So this one will fast charge your iPad Air at 30 watts, which is almost the max speed that it can take in. I believe it can take in around 35 watts at a time at its max speed, but the reason this only maxes out at 30 watts is because those additional 5 watts in the title, because it says it's a 35 watt charger, is used for the Apple Watch charger. So do keep that in mind if you want to pick one of these up, but it is 10,000 milliamp hours, and the best part is that it also has a little diagnostic screen to let you know how fast you're charging your devices, how long it's going to take to charge the device, and also when you are charging this itself, it'll give you the same exact data. So I love being able to see that in real time, so that's beautiful to see. And then to actually get a wall charger, I'm going to recommend the Nomad Slim 35 watt charger, and because there is a built-in USB-C cable already in the Anker MagGO, when I am using this thing on the go, I do not need to bring an additional cable. I just bring this, plug it into the wall, and plug that MagGO charger directly into this to be able to charge that MagGO charger whenever I see fit. So this is going to be one that I just stow away. I mean, look how small this thing is. It's tiny. And the last thing I want to recommend is some sort of cleaning kit, because the iPad screen is the main way you interact with the iPad, and it's going to be the most beautiful thing about it. So the cleaning kit by Paperlike is the one that I always keep on me, because it's kind of this all-in-one solution where I don't need to bring an additional microfiber cloth. The microfiber cloth is built into the anatomy of the actual device itself, and it's got the little spray bottle built in there, so it's very easy to use, very compact, and very easy to bring with you. But that'll do it, everybody. That is going to be all the budget accessories that I use with the iPad Air, and I've been using them pretty much on a daily basis. Those ESR ones, where it kind of gives you a third of the price all the way down compared to those first party ones, are ones that I would highly recommend, and definitely stay tuned because we have more stuff from them coming. But that'll do it for this video, everybody. Leave a comment down below of your favorite accessories, whether it is for the M3 iPad Air or any iPad for that matter, because a lot of these accessories have an alternative for their different counterparts, whether it is an iPad Pro, older iPad Air, or everything in between. But if you made it to the end, leave a little dolphin in the comments down below so I know you made it to the end. And if you want to watch more videos like this one, definitely check out one of these videos right here. And until next time, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I'm Fernando. Peace, everybody.